Hello, my name's Josh. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I've recently been through a divorce. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Today, I'd like to talk about a process that actually started a little bit before my spouse asked for a divorce. While we were in counseling, it came to my attention, and partially because my ex-wife pointed it out to me, and partially just in this discovery phase of everything, I learned that I'd kind of lost myself. And what I meant by that was, I had a calling, and I fulfilled my calling, and I knew I was a dad, and I knew I was a husband, and I was an employee at a company. But if you took all those roles away from me, what was left of me? And the answer was nothing. If I wasn't a father and if I wasn't a husband, there was no, or, someone serving in a calling, there was kind of no me left. And where this really came to attention was the counselor asked me to write down a list of 10 things that I enjoyed doing. Just that I enjoyed doing. I thought really long and hard about that, and I couldn't come up with a list. My list was I like spending time with my family. And the counselor said, well, that's good, but, if your family's not around, what do you like to do? If your wife takes the kids and they're out and about, what do you like to do? And I really couldn't answer it. And so I started thinking, and in the process of time, I realized I had lost myself. There was Josh serving in all these roles, but when these roles weren't around, there was no Josh. And I realized that there was kind of an emptiness inside of me because of that. So I didn't know what to do. I really thought and pondered on it for a long time. And I realized that as my wife at the time and I were going through difficulties, I didn't have anything to kind of fall back on within myself. So I decided shortly before my wife asked for the divorce, I was struggling with some feelings of resentment and frustration. And so this idea of what do I like to do came up because I needed to find a release for these emotions. And so I was talking to my counselor about it, and we came up with the plan was I was going to consider what did I like to do when I was younger? What did I like to do when I first met my wife? What did I like to do when I was a teenager? What were those things that I used to like to do? So that I could come up with a list with. And in my mind I thought, well, I like all these things, but then I realized I hadn't done any of these things in some of them 10, 15, 20 years. So I decided I was going to start trying some of those things again. So, for instance, one of those was I've liked cologne since I was a kid. And I've bought cologne for myself, and I've always worn cologne. Well, I know there's this whole world of cologne out there, so I thought, well, I'm going to start learning more about cologne. So if I had free time, I'd go to the mall and I'd just go to the cologne counter and smell cologne. And then I decided, well, maybe there's something on YouTube about cologne. So I started exploring YouTube, and lo and behold, there was a lot on YouTube about cologne. And then I learned that you can sample cologne, and anyways, it turned into this hobby of mine, which now I have quite a few colognes. I really enjoy it. I probably know more about it than anyone reasonably should. But it's something that I enjoyed, and I still enjoy. And it's brought me this sense of fulfillment. But what more important it did is it made me start exploring other things. So, I thought to myself, well, I used to like lifting weights. Maybe I should start going to the gym and lifting weights again. And I did, and of course I was pretty sore in the beginning, and wasn't nearly as strong as I used to be. But as I just kind of started doing it and slowly working my way back into it, I discovered, wow, I forgot. I really like doing this. And now it's become part of my almost daily routine is to go and lift weights just because it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing it for me. And then as I've kind of explored, one of the things that's happened is as I've explored these hobbies, it's led me to think of, oh, well, if I like this, maybe I'll like this, or maybe I should try this. And as I've talked to other people about their hobbies, because that's one thing that I've done, I've tried out hobbies and tried things out. Now, for instance, one thing that I've tried, I know several guys in my area, they love to fish. And so I've been fishing several times. It's something that's fun to do with guys, but it's not a passion of mine. It's not, I've tried it. It's fun to do, but I mean, I have friends that, anytime they get 5 free minutes, they're going to be out fishing somewhere. That just isn't me. But that's okay. There's a million hobbies to be had out there. I know some people who like woodworking and, whittling or whatever the case may be, and that may not be for me, but I have things that are for me. And I find joy in them. And the best part is that all this variety of hobbies have been so helpful to me in several ways. One of the ways particularly is when things would get really hard with the divorce, I could just go do one of my hobbies. I could, for instance, if I was interested in cologne at the time, I could go watch YouTube videos about cologne, about how it's made or different smells and scents and all these different things. If it was about weightlifting, if I was really doing that at the moment, I could watch videos on how to improve my technique or how to, improve my training regimen. There's lots of other little things, little hobbies that I've kind of picked up. But it was such a good distraction for me. And sometimes when you're in the middle of the divorce and the pain and the trauma and all the troubles that go along with it, you just need some good distractions that are healthy, that take your mind away, and they need to be something that is interesting to you, because then it's easy for your mind to leave the painful situation you're in and move into something that is of interest. So, one of the things that I've learned now is there's things that I want to do that I never thought I'd want to do. I've found, because of these just slowly picking up hobbies, there's been kind of a new zest in life. I find, with just these 3 or 4 or 5 hobbies that I've kind of picked up along the way, there's so many more I want to try. And then from that, I can see there's a whole world out there that I want to explore. And I discovered that when I was younger, I remembered that was what I wanted to do, was go explore and see what the world had to offer. But I had lost that. I'd lost that a long time ago. But now I find myself wanting to explore the world and wanting to see what the world has to offer and wanting to see everything that the Heavenly Father has given to us and seeing it all for what it is. So if anyone is really struggling right now in their divorce, if you don't have a hobby, I would highly encourage you to find one. Just find one. If you can't think of what it is, think of what is something that used to interest you, and start there. You may find, I found there were some hobbies that, I used to, when I was a teenager, I used to like to draw. I tried drawing again. No interest. I'm not good at it. And maybe I just didn't want to put the time and the effort into it. I don't know. But it was one of those things that I used to like to do when I was a teenager, and I tried it again, and it just didn't really do anything for me now. So not everything's going to work out. But that's okay, right? Like, you just have to find something that brings a little bit of joy into your life and something that you do just for you. And I look at it now as an extension of the talents that the Lord has given us, right? These hobbies are an extension of those talents that now I can multiply, and then later, when my life is over, I can bring back to the Lord. So if you're really struggling right now and you don't already have a hobby, I would strongly recommend finding a hobby. finding two, finding three. If there's something that you've just always wanted to try but maybe never have for some reason, find a way to make it happen. And do it just for your own sense of self. And you'd be surprised. Like I said, I'm so surprised the roads that it's taken me down, and the healthier perspective on life those few little hobbies have ended up showing me. Anyways, like I always end on my channel, although I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, this channel is not endorsed by the church. My thoughts are my own. I'm not a counselor or a therapist. I'm just someone who's been through a divorce, and I've learned a few lessons along the way. If you find these videos helpful at all, I ask you to subscribe and share them with someone that you think it may help. Thanks.